grace brings you back. Let's talk about it as we recap yesterday's sermon. Well, in the story of Peter, there's a moment of huge failure, of major failure. He denies Jesus 3 times, but he overpromised before. He told that he would be better and his love would be greater than all the other disciples. And of all people, Peter denies Jesus publicly to the face of Jesus while warming his hands on a charcoal fire. Like, what has happened? Peter has failed so big that when Jesus is resurrected, inside, Peter feels still dead. Jesus brings him back. He, first of all, brings him back to the moments that he's experienced with Jesus. So in John 21, he recreates the time or the experience of Peter being called. Like in Luke 5, where Peter was called, there's a moment where, they catch nothing over the night by fishing. And then there's a man on the shore who calls, "Have you caught nothing?" That man then tells them to go out again, to launch into the deep and to fish on the right side of the boat. Like that would matter. But then, lo and behold, they catch the biggest catch ever. Jesus is recreating the moment of calling. He makes Paul remember, you've been called. Secondly, he recreates the moment of abundant grace, where he has bread and fish already waiting for them when they come to the shore. He provides, and he's like saying to Peter, I will provide. My grace is sufficient. Thirdly, he also creates a moment to make Peter remember the failure. Now, that's not like, you failed me. It's a love that opens the old wounds to heal them. How does Jesus do that? Well, they're sitting in a circle, there's a charcoal fire, and Peter is being questioned 3 times. Now, the question switches from, are you not with him, to, do you love me? And Jesus brings him back to the relationship that he had before. So Peter has now become a little bit more realistic. He's like, instead of answering with, yes, I love you, like with godly love, with the perfect love of God, he says, you know that I'm your friend. And that's what he can offer. And it's realistic. What's amazing about that the answer of Jesus is always, then feed my sheep, tend my sheep, look after my lambs. It's the similar calling. Obviously, you could go into the details here, but the point is clear. God can still use him. Jesus brings him back to his calling and to having a function and a need to be there in the team of Jesus. Even though his love is imperfect, even though he has failed big time, he brings him back. And then that's not enough. He gives him a direction. He says, now, you, Peter, follow me. He brings him back to his primary task or his primary mission. He brings him back and says, you follow me, even though it will cost you big time. It will cost you your life. You follow me. And then Peter is now fine with this because he's seen the resurrected Jesus that died and rose again. So that's the Jesus he's now following. And he says, well, what about this guy, John? He never failed you. He never overpromised, never underdelivered. And Jesus says, what about him? You just follow me. And that's the last recorded sentence that Jesus spoke in the book of John. So it's the last thing that we need to know. Well, a practical application, my friends, is very simple. Like if you failed, you just follow Jesus. If there's somebody more talented than you, you just follow Jesus. If you feel disappointed about where you are in life and things have not worked out, you just follow Jesus. That's a practical application. Well, but what does that mean? Well, walk behind Jesus. Whatever he does, you do as well. However he handles situations, you as well do that. If it's costing you, awesome, because it costs Jesus as well. So we as Christians, We need to make sure we stay followers of Jesus. That is our task. And that's what Jesus is bringing us back to. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful week.